My fingers were trembling when I typed back, thanks. Thanks for what? Thanks to a friend for telling me the truth? Thanks to my wife for at least not letting me be the last to know? Or thanks for the fact that after 5 years of marriage, I finally had a concrete, quantifiable moment of collapse. 1 hour. From today on, the time in my life would be divided into 2 eras, before that hour and after that hour. When a phone dinged with that message, I was tying my daughter's hair. The 4-year-old little girl had hair as fine and soft as her mother's. My hands were clumsy, and the elastic band kept slipping. Daddy, that hurts, Lily pouted. Almost done, almost done. I coaxed her, but my eyes drifted to the coffee table. The phone screen was lit up, a new message floating on it. The sender was Dave, my college buddy, who now worked at the same company as my wife, Sarah. I freed up one hand and swiped it open. The words on the screen stabbed into my eyes like needles. Mark, keeping this inside is killing me. At the company retreat today, I saw Sarah and Julian get into a tent together. They stayed in there for about an hour. It was a single-person tent, zipped up. I felt like you needed to know. My hand jerked, and an elastic band snapped, hitting Lily on the neck. Wah! Lily started crying. Sorry, Daddy didn't mean to. I rushed to comfort her, scrambling to pick up the hair tie, but my eyes were still glued to the phone. I read that line again and again. 1 hour. Single-person tent. Zipped up. Daddy, it hurts. Lily was still crying, tears hanging on her small face. I picked her up and patted her back. Don't cry, Daddy will make it better. But my hand was shaking. Dave sent another message. Mark, are you there? I really didn't know if I should say anything, but we've been brothers for so many years, I couldn't watch you be kept in the dark. I put Lily down, walked to the balcony, and closed the door. My finger hovered over the screen for a long time before typing. Did you see clearly? Almost an instant reply. Crystal clear. Blue single-person tent, right on the slope at the east end of the camp. They went in around 1:40. Julian came out first at 2:40. Sarah came out at 2:45. I was smoking behind a tree nearby. Saw the whole thing. 1:40 to 2:45. 65 minutes. 5 minutes longer than an hour. I leaned against the wall and lit a cigarette. I quit 3 years ago, but this pack was from a client last week, tossed in a drawer and forgotten. The first drag made me cough until tears came out. Daddy, Lily called from inside. Yeah, coming. I stubbed out the cigarette and washed my face with cold water. Back in the living room, Lily was sitting on the floor playing with blocks. I looked at her, a 4-year-old kid who knew nothing. She didn't know what her dad had just seen, didn't know her mom had spent an hour in a tent with another man up in the mountains. Didn't know that this home was about to shatter. The phone buzzed again. It was Sarah. Hubby, we'll be home around 3 tomorrow afternoon. Pine Ridge is so beautiful. The stars are super bright tonight. Brought gifts for you and Lily. 3 red heart emojis followed. I stared at those 3 hearts for a long time. Then I replied, okay, travel safe. Putting down the phone, I sat on the floor and helped Lily stack blocks. My hands were steady, stacking one block after another. But the tower in my heart had already collapsed. When did it start? I actually had a feeling about Sarah and Julian for a while now. 6 months ago, Sarah transferred from admin to marketing, and her direct supervisor was Julian. She was so happy back then, talking nonstop during dinner. Our new director, Julian, is young and promising. He's a director at just 32. He came back from overseas, really knows how to lead a team. He's pretty handsome, too. The girls in the office are always sneaking looks at him. I was serving soup at the time and asked casually, what about you? You sneaking looks? She rolled her eyes at me. I have a husband and a daughter. What is there to look at? Besides, would someone like him be interested in me? We both laughed. Back then, it was still a joke. The changes came slowly. First, she started getting off work later and later. Sarah said the new department was busy, lots of projects. I believed her. I picked up the kid, bought groceries, cooked. The food was heated up, went cold, heated up again. Then came the weekend overtime. Sarah said the client needed a proposal last minute. I believed that, too. I took Lily to the playground to toddler classes. When Lily asked where Mommy was, I said Mommy was making money to buy candy for Lily. Later on, the name Julian appeared in her mouth more and more. Julian treated us to coffee today. Starbucks, fancy stuff. That proposal Julian did was amazing. I need to learn from it. Julian said my draft needs revision. Got to work late tonight. I listened, saying nothing. That bit of discomfort in my heart was like a splinter, not deep but always there. What really made me suspicious was that Tuesday night. I rarely got off work on time, so I took a detour to her office, wanted to pick her up and give her a surprise. And then I saw it. At the entrance of the office building, Julian and Sarah stood together. The man was tall, wearing a white dress shirt with sleeves rolled up to his elbows. Sarah was looking up saying something, and Julian laughed, naturally reaching out and patting her shoulder. It wasn't a boss-patting subordinate kind of way. His hand landed, pulled her in slightly, and his fingertips lingered on her shoulder for a second or two. Sarah didn't dodge. She was smiling, her eyes curved and shining. I hadn't seen that kind of smile on her face in a long time. I stood across the street, the bubble tea I bought her turning cold in my hand. That night, we had a huge fight. He just patted my shoulder, so what? Sarah's voice was high. Was that a pat on the shoulder? That was a caress. I yelled back, Mark, can you get your mind out of the gutter? We were just normal colleagues. Do normal colleagues need to stand that close? Do normal colleagues need to be laughing downstairs after work? You followed me? Sarah's eyes went round. I want to pick you up. I wanted to surprise you. You don't trust me. Her eyes turned red. Mark, I stayed home cooking and raising the kid for 4 years. Now, I finally have a chance to do something for myself. And this is how you see me. That's not what I mean. Then what do you mean? She interrupted me. You're allowed to work late with female colleagues, but I can't speak to a male boss. That was work. There were other people in the car. This is work too. By the end, we were both exhausted. She slammed the bedroom door and locked it. I sat on the living room sofa and smoked half a pack of cigarettes. After that, we didn't bring it up again. But some things, once cracked, stay cracked. The fissure was thin, hidden beneath our daily routine of eating, watching TV, and putting the kid to sleep. But we both knew it was there. The retreat notification came out last week. When Sarah came home, she took off her shoes and said, company organized a camping trip to Pine Ridge, 2 days and 1 night this weekend. I was in the kitchen stir-frying, the range hood humming. Do you have to go? The whole department is going. It wouldn't be right if I didn't. She walked in, hugged me from behind, resting her chin on my shoulder. It'll be hard on you, taking care of Lily for a day, okay? I didn't speak, just tossed the vegetables in the pan. Is Julian going too? Her body stiffened for a second, then she let go. Mark, can we not talk about him? I'm just asking. He's going. He's a director. Can he not go? Her voice went cold. If you're really that worried, I won't go. The vegetables in the pan were about to burn. I turned off the heat and plated them. Go, I said. It's fine. Saturday morning, before the sky was fully light, she got up. She washed up quietly, put on makeup, changed clothes. Her suitcase was open on the floor. She packed sunscreen, bug spray, a sun hat, and a pale blue athletic outfit I hadn't seen before, the tag still on it. I leaned against the bedroom door frame, watching her. Where are you sleeping? Tents, obviously. Where else? How many people per tent? Her hand stuffing a towel into the case paused. It was very slight, but I saw it. The company booked them, probably 2 per tent, men and women separated, she said, not looking at me. Who are you sharing with? I don't know. She closed the suitcase, zipping it fast. We'll see the assignment when we get there. Go back to sleep. You have to take Lily to her tumbling class. She didn't look at me, just grabbed the suitcase and left the bedroom. That night when I lay down, Sarah was already back turned to me, breathing evenly, like she was asleep. I kept my eyes open, staring at the ceiling in the dark for a long time. Sunday morning, she left when the sky was just turning gray. She pushed open Lily's door and kissed the little one's cheek. Then she walked to the bed and touched my forehead too. I'm leaving. Back tomorrow afternoon. I kept my eyes closed. MMH. She stood there for a while. I felt her gaze fall on my face. But in the end, she just pulled her suitcase and gently closed the door. I opened my eyes, looking at the empty pillow beside me. Then came this afternoon, and that message from Dave. Sarah got home at 3:10 p.m. The sound of the key turning was light, like a thief. The door opened, suitcase wheels rolling over the threshold. I'm back. Her voice was deliberately pitched high, carrying an unnatural lightness. Lily screamed and threw herself at her. Mommy! Oh, my baby! Mommy missed you to death. Sarah picked Lily up, kissing her over and over. Did you listen to Daddy? I listened. Daddy, tie my braids. Good girl. I stood in the center of the living room, holding Lily's storybook. Sarah looked over, the smile on her face faltering for a second before blooming even brighter. Hey, honey, I'm back. Yeah. I walked over and took her suitcase. It wasn't heavy, but holding it felt like it weighed a ton. Must be tired, right? I said, my voice so steady it surprised me. How was the trip? It was okay. Just hiking, barbecue, bonfire at night, pretty noisy. She put Lily down and bent over to change her shoes. Home is definitely more comfortable. Lily, get Mommy a glass of water. I'm dying of thirst. Lily scampered off to the kitchen. Sarah straightened up and looked at me. The moment our eyes met, I clearly saw a flash of panic in hers. It was covered quickly by a smile, but I saw it. New bracelet. I looked at her wrist. A thin silver chain I had never seen before. Oh, this. She subconsciously covered her wrist with her other hand. Bought it at the market at the foot of the mountain yesterday. Wasn't expensive, just thought it looked cute. It's nice, I said. She smiled, but it was a bit stiff. Thanks. Dinner was barbecue supplies she brought back from the trip. We grilled on the balcony. The charcoal lit up, meat skewers sizzling, the smell of grease mixing with spices wafting up. Lily was excited, circling the grill until Sarah shooed her 3 meters back. By the way, Sarah said, flipping chicken wings, acting casual. We hiked yesterday, too. Went to the viewing platform halfway up the mountain. The view was great. Is that so? I looked at her. You just hiked to the viewing platform? Yeah, going further up was too tiring. She handed me a cooked skewer. Taste this, how's the salt? I took it and took a bite. Crispy outside, tender inside, taste was just right. It's okay, I said. Just okay. She looked at me with mock annoyance. Yeah, just okay. She pursed her lips and turned back to grill. After a while, she said, Julian asked about you yesterday. Asked me what? Just asked if you were still so busy. Said he hadn't seen you in a while. We should grab dinner sometime. Her tone was casual, like commenting on the nice weather. I didn't reply, took a sip of beer. Yesterday, I stared at the charcoal fire. Besides hiking and barbecue, what else did you do? Just a bonfire party, played games, sang songs. What else is there to do? She laughed. Why are you interrogating me like cop? Curious. I smiled too, but I knew the smile didn't reach my eyes. Did you sleep well in the tent? Her hand flipping the meat froze. Very brief, maybe half a second. Then she continued flipping, but the motion was noticeably slower. Tent? We didn't stay in tents. She turned to look at me, face full of confusion. The company booked a lodge, a B&B. I told you that. Really? I looked at her. I must have remembered wrong. We stared at each other. Her eyes were bright, reflecting the charcoal fire like 2 tiny flames. But behind those flames, I couldn't see what was there. Mark, she called my name, voice softening. Are you still mad? Mad that I went on the retreat this weekend and didn't hang out with you and Lily? No, I said. You are. She put the cooked meat on a plate, handed it to Lily, then walked over, squatting by my legs and looking up at me. Honey, I'll work less overtime from now on. Spend more time with you and Lily, okay? Her eyes were wet, like they were covered in a layer of mist. In the past, whenever she looked at me like this, I would melt. But today, looking into these eyes, all I could think of was Dave's message. Blue single-person tent. Entered at 1:40. Exited at 2:45. Sarah. I opened my mouth, voice a bit hoarse. Yesterday, were you in a tent? Her expression solidified, bit by bit. The smile still hung on the corners of her mouth, but the light in her eyes slowly went cold and extinguished. What tent? She stood up, voice turning cold too. Mark, what exactly are you trying to say? Yesterday afternoon, 1:40 to 2:45. Where were you? The balcony suddenly went quiet. Only the occasional pop of the charcoal and the faint traffic noise from below. Lily sensed the atmosphere was wrong, hugging her meat skewer, looking at me. Then it's Sarah, whispering, Mommy, Daddy, are you fighting? No, baby. Sarah turned to smile at Lily, but it was forced. Mommy and Daddy are just chatting. Go to your room and watch cartoons, okay? Mommy will turn on the TV for you. She ushered Lily into the room and closed the door. Then she turned back, facing me. Mark, her voice was light, but every word was like a shard of ice. Are you checking up on me? Dave saw it, I said. Yesterday afternoon, 1:40. You and Julian went into a blue single-person tent on the east slope of the camp. You didn't come out until 2:45. Sarah's face, in the dim light of the balcony, turned white bit by bit. 1 hour, I continued. 65 minutes. What were you doing in a tent that small? She opened her mouth, no sound came out. Raised her hand, then dropped it. Then she laughed. It was a cold, sarcastic laugh. So, you don't trust me, she said. You trust Dave? I want to trust you. I looked into her eyes. Tell me, where were you yesterday afternoon at that time? I was at the viewing platform, taking pictures. With whom? Colleagues. A bunch of them. Was Julian there? Yes. You went to the viewing platform together? Yes. And then we went down the mountain to prep for the bonfire. 1:40 to 2:45, more than an hour. You were at the viewing platform the whole time? Yes. Any photos? She froze. What? Photos, I said. Photos of you at the viewing platform. Send them to me. Sarah's face turned from white to green. She stared at me, eyes complex. Anger, grievance, disappointment, and a trace of panic. Mark, her voice trembled. Do you really have to do this? I want the truth. The truth is I was at the viewing platform. I was with colleagues. Julian was there. but there is nothing between us. Then why are you afraid to show me the photos? Why should I show you? She suddenly raised her voice. Mark, I am your wife, not your prisoner. What right do you have to investigate me? Because I am your husband. I yelled back. Because Dave saw you go into that tent with him with his own eyes. Because for over an hour, nobody knows what you were doing in there. We didn't do anything. She shrieked, tears pouring out. Mark, you trust me that little? Just because he's a man and I'm a woman, we can't be alone together? It was a single-person tent. I grabbed her wrist hard. Single-person tent. Sarah, 2 people in there. How close do you have to be? You were in there for over an hour, and you're telling me you were chatting? What work requires hiding inside a single-person tent to discuss? I wasn't hiding. She shook off my hand, stepping back, tears falling. We were just talking about work stuff. It was too loud outside. The tent was quiet. Talking about work requires zipping it up? She froze rigid. The zipper was closed, right? You still there. Dave said the zipper was pulled up from the inside. Sarah's lips quivered. She looked at me, her eyes shifting from anger to terror and from terror to despair. Then she laughed, a laugh uglier than crying. Yes, she said, voice light drifting. The zipper was up. We were just talking about work inside. Believe it or not. With that, she turned and stormed into the bedroom, slamming the door. I stood on the balcony, listening to the muffled crying coming from inside. The charcoal was still burning. The meat skewers were charred, emitting black smoke. I turned off the grill and stood alone in the dark. The city lights in the distance flickered on and off, like countless eyes staring coldly at me. I knew that some things, once torn open, could never be put back together. That night, Sarah didn't come out of the bedroom. I lay on the living room sofa, eyes open until dawn. My brain was filled with those images. Sarah and Julian at the office entrance, his hand on her shoulder, her looking up smiling. Sarah packing her suitcase, that brand new pale blue athletic outfit. Dave's message, blue single-person tent, entered at 1:40, exited at 2:45. Sarah's pale face, trembling lips, and that phrase, believe it or not. At 4 a.m., I got up and opened my laptop. Searched Pine Ridge camping map. The map loaded. The camp was divided into east and west zones, separated by a small patch of woods. The east zone was marked quiet zone, the west activity zone. I zoomed in on the east zone. There were indeed a few tent icons there. 1 hour, 65 minutes. What had he done? I clicked on Julian's social media. He rarely posted private stuff, mostly work-related. But 3 days ago, he posted a photo of Pine Ridge with the caption, weekend relaxation, warming up for the team retreat. Someone commented below, Julian, any special arrangements for this retreat? He replied with a winking emoji. Special arrangements. What special arrangements? I clicked on Sarah's Facebook. Her latest post was from last night, a collage, bonfire, barbecue, starry sky, team group photo. She stood in the middle, smiling brilliantly. Julian was at the edge of the photo, showing only his profile. Caption, among the mountains, under the galaxy, relaxation long overdue. Beneath the post, a colleague commented, Sarah, you really partied hard today. She replied with a smiley face. There was also a comment from Julian. Let's watch the stars together again next time. She replied with a moon emoji. Next time? Again. I stared at those 2 comments for a long time. Then I closed the page and opened a work document. But I couldn't read a single word. As the sky neared dawn, I heard the bedroom door open. Sarah walked out to get water in the kitchen. She was wearing pajamas, hair messy, eyes red and swollen. We were separated by a door frame, neither speaking. She finished her water and looked at me once. That look was empty, strange. Then she turned back to the bedroom and gently closed the door. I sat at the computer, watching the color of the sky outside the window brighten bit by bit. Gray-white, then fish-belly white, then a pale gold. Lily woke up, rubbing her eyes as she walked out. Daddy, why aren't you sleeping? Daddy can't sleep. I picked her up. Hungry? Daddy will make breakfast. Where's Mommy? Mommy's still sleeping. Did Mommy cry? I heard Mommy crying last night. My throat choked up. No, Mommy had a bad dream. Oh, Lily seemed to understand, but not really. Daddy, are we going to the amusement park today? Daddy has something to do today, another day, okay? Okay. I made breakfast, fried eggs, warm milk. Sarah never came out. On the way to drop Lily at preschool, the little one was very quiet. At the gate, she suddenly grabbed my hand. Daddy, yeah, don't fight with Mommy. She looked at me, big eyes full of seriousness. When kids' mommies and daddies fight, they don't want the kids anymore. My heart wrenched violently. I squatted down and hugged her. That won't happen. Daddy will never not want Lily. And Mommy too. Okay. Watching her run into the preschool, her tiny back retreating, I stood at the gate without moving for a long time. My phone rang. It was Dave. I picked up. Mark. Dave's voice was low. Yesterday. Everything okay? It's fine. Sarah, Dave. I interrupted him. Is the tent still there? Silence on the other end for a few seconds. Should be. The retreat only officially ends today. They probably won't pack up until this afternoon. Send me the location. Mark, you're going there? Yeah. Don't be impulsive. I'm not impulsive. I watch the traffic on the road. I'm just going to look. Dave was silent again for a moment, then said, all right, I'll send the pin, but Sigh, just handle it carefully. Hanging up, the location arrived quickly. Pine Ridge Camp, East Zone, the slope by the small woods. I checked the time, 8:30 a.m. Driving there would take an hour and a half. I pulled the car door open and sat in. When I started the engine, my hands were shaking slightly. Took a few deep breaths to steady myself. GPS showed 54 miles, estimated 1 hour 20 minutes. I stepped on the gas and merged into traffic. Some things you have to see with your own eyes. Some answers you have to find yourself. The drive to Pine Ridge was smooth. It was a work day, not many cars leaving the city. I drove fast, scenery flying backward outside the window. My mind was chaotic yet empty. I remembered 7 years ago, meeting Sarah for the first time. It was at a friend's party. She was sitting in a corner, quietly drinking. My friend pushed me over, saying, let me introduce you, Sarah, my college classmate. I extended my hand. Mark. She looked up at me, eyes bright like stars were inside. Then she smiled and extended her hand. Her hand was soft, warm. Later we dated, married, had Lily. At the wedding, I was so nervous I couldn't speak. She just smiled and squeezed my hand, whispering, don't be scared, I'm here. The day Lily was born, she was in labor for over 10 hours. When she came out, her face was white, hair soaked. I held Lily for her to see, and she cried, saying, Mark, we have a family. Family. A word. A table, a lamp, 2 people, a child. But now this family was cracked. 1 hour. 1 tent. 1 man. Enough to crush 7 years of feelings into dust. The car turned onto the winding mountain road. The road got narrower, curved sharper. Dense woods on both sides, sunlight dappling through the leaves. The GPS said, you are approaching your destination. Destination is on your right. I slowed down, turned right into a parking lot. Workday, very few cars, only 2 or 3. A sign stood nearby, Pine Ridge Camping Ground. I killed the engine and got out. The mountain was quiet. Birds singing, insects chirping, wind rustling the leaves. The air smelled of grass and earth. Fresh, but I felt suffocated. Excuse me, how do I get to the East Zone? I asked a staff member packing tents nearby. It was a young guy. He looked up at me. East Zone? Not open today. A group used it last night. Haven't cleaned up yet. I'm just looking. Oh, over there. He pointed to a small path. Through those woods? But there's nothing to see, just a few tents. Thanks. I walked along the path. The woods were dense, light dimming. Thick fallen leaves on the ground, soft underfoot. After walking about 10 minutes, the view opened up. It was a gentle slope, lush green grass. Scattered on the slope were a dozen tents, mostly large green ones that could fit 3 or 4 people. But at the top of the slope, in the most secluded spot on the edge, stood a lonely, small blue tent. Blue top, single person, exactly as Dave described. I stood there, feet nailed to the ground. Even with mental preparation, seeing it for real felt like taking a punch to the chest, breathless. I walked over slowly, steps heavy, each one like stepping on cotton. The tent was new. The blue canvas was a bit glaring in the sunlight. The zipper on the door flap was open, swaying gently in the wind. I squatted down and lifted the flap. Inside was small, maybe 20 square feet. A moisture-proof mat on the ground, an empty water bottle tossed in the corner, and a long strand of hair. Dark brown, slightly wavy long hair. Sarah's hair was this color, this length. Just this morning, I had cleaned a clump exactly like it from the shower drain. I picked up the hair, looking at it against the light. Sunlight passed through the strand, dark brown with a natural wave. My hand started to shake. I put down the hair and looked around the tent. Tiny, really too tiny. 2 people inside would have to sit tight against each other. If they lay down, they'd be plastered together. 1 hour, 65 minutes. In here, I closed my eyes, images flooding my brain uncontrollably. Sarah and Julian in this cramped space, shoulder to shoulder, or closer. What were they saying? What were they laughing at? Or were they not speaking at all? Zipper pulled up from the inside. People outside can't see in, people inside can't see out. An isolated hour. My phone rang, pulling me back to reality. It was Sarah. I stared at the name on the screen for a long time before answering. Hello. Mark, her voice was calm, too calm. Where are you? Out. Out where? Is something wrong? Lily's teacher called. Said you looked bad when you dropped Lily off this morning. Asked me if you were sick. She paused. I said you want to work overtime. I didn't speak. Where exactly are you? She asked again, a trace of imperceptible trembling in her voice. Pine Ridge, I said. Silence on the other end. Long silence. I only heard her breathing, light and rapid. What did you go there for? Finally, she spoke, voice hoarse. Just looking. Looking at what? Looking at the place where you spent an hour yesterday. Another silence. Then I heard her sniffing, like she was crying or holding it back. Mark, she called my name, every word squeezed through her teeth. You trust me that little? I want to trust you. I looked at the hair in my hand. Sarah, tell me, yesterday afternoon, in this blue tent, what did you and Julian do? We didn't do anything. Then what were you doing? Chatting? Chatting about work requires zipping it up? Requires an hour. We were discussing a project. A very important project. Couldn't let others hear. What project? Company secret, I can't say. Can't say to me either. It's professional ethics. I laughed out loud. The laughter echoed on the empty hillside, sounding awful. Professional ethics. I repeated those words. Sarah, you're talking to me about professional ethics? You and a man, in a single-person tent, zipped up for an hour, and you tell me it's professional ethics. Mark, you bastard, she screamed. You've just decided I did something with him. You just don't trust me. Fine, think whatever you want. In your heart, I'm already a slut, right? I didn't say that. That's exactly what you mean. She started crying, sobbing. 7 years, Mark. We've been together 7 years. Don't you know what kind of person I am? Would I do that kind of thing? I knew before, I said. Now, I don't know. She cried harder, gasping for breath. I listened to her crying, feeling like a knife was twisting in my heart. It hurt, it really damn hurt. But I still asked it, the question I feared most but had to ask. Sarah, do you love me? On the other end, the crying stopped, only breathing. Rapid, suppressed greding. After a long time, she spoke, voice light and drifting. Mark, that sentence I should be asking you. Then, she hung up. The busy tone beeped, piercingly loud on the quiet hillside. I put down the phone, looking at that strand of hair. Then I carefully placed it in my wallet fold. Stood up, looked around the blue tent. The sunlight was good, the grass green, distant mountains rolling. A good place for camping. Also a good place for an affair. I took one last look at that blue tent, turned, and walked back along the path. Walked to the parking lot, got in, started the car. In the rearview mirror, Pine Ridge got farther and farther, finally disappearing around a bend. On the drive back to the city, I didn't turn on the radio, didn't play music, only the hum of the engine and the sound of my heartbeat in the cabin. I remember a lot of things. Remembered when we first started dating, broke, renting a tiny studio, summer heat like a steamer. We lay on the floor, fan blowing on us, sharing a popsicle. She said, Mark, when we have money, let's buy a big house and install central air. Later we really bought a house, not big, but enough. Moving day, she hugged me and cried, saying, we finally have a home. Remembered when she was pregnant with Lily, terrible morning sickness, couldn't eat anything. Middle of the night, she craved spicy noodles from the south side of the city. I rode my electric scooter across half the city to buy them. Coming back in pouring rain, I was soaked, but the noodles were still hot. She ate and cried, saying, Mark, you're too good to me. Remembered after Lily was born, she quit her job to stay home with the kid. Every day when I came home from work, she held Lily at the door waiting for me, smiling and saying, Daddy's back. Back then, life was hard, but our hearts were full. When did it start to change? Was it after she started working again? After she met Julian? Or earlier, during my countless overtime nights, business dinners, the times I put her and Lily second? Phone rang again. Office calling. Mark, are you coming for the afternoon meeting? Clients are here. I glanced at the time, 1:30 p.m. Coming, I said. There in half an hour. Hanging up, I took a deep breath and stepped on the gas. Life had to go on. Still had to work, still had to make money, still had to raise Lily. As for that blue tent, that 1 hour, that hair, let it be for now. I needed to think hard. From that day on, I changed. I started working desperately. 7 a.m. at the office, leaving at 10 p.m. Went in on weekends too, brought a lunchbox, sat in the office all day. Colleagues said I was crazy. Boss called me in, said work is important, but health matters more. I said, it's fine, I can handle it. Actually, I knew I wasn't working hard. I was escaping going home, escaping facing Sarah, escaping that blue tent, escaping that 1 hour. Sarah changed too. She stopped arguing with me, stopped explaining, didn't even mention that day anymore. We were like two strangers sharing a lease, living under the same roof, sleeping in the same bed, but separated by a galaxy. She still cooked, cleaned, picked up, and dropped off Lily. But we didn't talk. Except for necessary time to eat, Lily needs a bath, utilities paid. We had almost zero communication. Lily sensed it. A 4-year-old is more sensitive than adults imagine. Daddy, are you and Mommy fighting? One night, she lay on my lap and asked. No. I stroked her hair. Then why don't you talk? Daddy is tired from work, doesn't want to talk. Mommy says she's tired too. Lily whispered. Mommy cries secretly at night, I saw her. My heart squeezed. I hugged her tight. Mommy had a bad dream. Does Daddy have bad dreams too? Yeah. Then if you sleep together, you won't be scared. Lily said seriously. When I have a bad dream, I sleep with Teddy. My nose stung, almost dropped a tear. Okay, I said. Daddy will sleep with Mommy tonight. That night, I actually carried my pillow back to the bedroom. Sarah was already asleep, back to me. I lay down, looking at her back, watched for a long time, then reached out and gently hugged her. Her body stiffened. She didn't move. Sarah, I whispered against her ear. Let's not be like this, okay? She didn't speak. Lily said you cry secretly at night. She still didn't speak, but I felt her shaking. Let's talk, I said. Really talk. Talk about what? She finally spoke, voice hoarse. Talk about how you don't trust me? Talk about how you ran to Pine Ridge, like you were catching a cheater? Mark, in your heart, I'm just that kind of person, right? I didn't think that. That I asked what you think. She suddenly turned to face me. In the dark, I couldn't see her face clearly, but I could see the glint of tears in her eyes. You'd rather trust Dave, trust those shadows and winds, than trust me. 7 years. I've been with you 7 years, and this is the trust one get. That's because you lied to me. I couldn't hold back either. You said you were at the viewing platform, but you were in the tent. You said you talked work, but what work requires hiding in a single-person tent for an hour? Sarah, tell me, how am I supposed to trust you? I said it was a company secret. What about Julian? He touches your shoulder, drives you home, eats alone with you. Is that work too? That is normal colleague interaction. Normal colleagues need to touch shoulders, need to eat alone, need to hide in a tent for an hour. Mark, she sat up, voice trembling. You just decided I cheated, right? Fine, I cheated. I slept with Julian. Are you happy now? I froze, didn't expect her to say that. What did you say? I said I cheated. I had sex with Julian in the tent. We did it for an hour. Are you satisfied? She shouted through tears. Isn't that what you want to hear? I'll give it to you. Mark, I'm giving you the answer you want. I looked at her. In the darkness, her face was blurry, but the reflection of her tears was sharp. In that moment, I didn't know what to believe. Should I believe her angry words or the evidence I saw? Sarah, I heard my own voice dry and gritty. I'm only asking you one last time. You and Julian, did you or didn't you? She looked at me, tears flowing nonstop. After a long time, she shook her head, whispering very quietly, no. Then why did you go into that tent? I told you, talking work. What work? I can't say. That sentence again. I lay back, looking at the ceiling. Felt tired, really damn tired. Go to sleep, I said. She didn't lie down, just sat there crying. Quietly, suppressed. Cried for a long time until she was exhausted, then slowly lay down, back to me. That night, neither of us slept. Days passed like that. Calm on the surface, turbulent underneath. I continued to work frantically, taking on more projects, more overtime. Sarah was busy too, but we tacitly tried to stagger our time at home. She left early. I came back late. She picked up Lily. I dropped off Lily. Only Lily was the link between us. Friday night, Dave asked me out for a drink. At a small dive bar, not many people, quiet. We sat in the corner, drinking bottle after bottle. Mark, I'm sorry. Dave was drunk, eyes red. I shouldn't have run my mouth. If I hadn't said anything, you and Sarah wouldn't be like this. Don't blame you. I clinked glasses with him. Whether you said it or not, the facts are there. But what if? Dave hesitated. What if I saw it wrong? What if it really was a misunderstanding? Single tent, 1 hour, zipped up. I laughed, a bitter laugh. That misunderstanding is a little too coincidental. But Sarah, she's not like that. People change. I stare at the liquor in my glass. Or maybe people just have many faces we haven't seen. Dave stopped talking, buried his head in his drink. By the third bottle, he suddenly said, Mark, there's something I don't know if I should say. Say it. Just regarding the retreat. Actually, not just me who saw it. My hand paused. Who else? A few other colleagues saw it too, but none of them said anything. Dave lowered his voice. I only found out later listening to gossip. They said, so they saw Julian and Sarah come out of the tent together. Both looked unnatural, walking one after another, keeping a big distance. When, that afternoon, around 2:40 something. Matched the time I had. What did they say? Just said, surely something's going on, otherwise why hide in a tent for so long? Dave sighed. Mark, this thing has spread all over the company. Just nobody dares say it to your face. Sarah, she's looked terrible at work these past few days too. Heard Julian called her in for a talk. Talk about what? Don't know, but definitely nothing good. Dave looked at me. Mark, how about you go talk to Julian? I shook my head. Talk about what? Ask him if he slept with my wife. But there has to be an explanation for this. Can't just leave it unclear. Explanation? I laughed. What explanation? Catching them in bed counts as an explanation? But even if I caught them, then what? Divorce? And then? What about Lily? Dave fell silent. We drank a few more glasses, then went our separate ways. I took an Uber. Dave got a designated driver. When I got home, it was 1 a.m. The living room night light was on. Sarah was sitting on the sofa, not asleep. You're back, she said, tone flat. Yeah. I took off my shoes, changed clothes. Lily asleep? Yes. I went to the bathroom to shower. The water was hot, but I felt cold. When I came out, Sarah was still on the sofa, hugging her knees, looking out the window. Why aren't you sleeping? I asked. Waiting for you. She said, have something to say to you. I sat in the armchair opposite her. Say it. She turned to look at me. In the dim light, her eyes were bright and deep. Mark, let's get a divorce. I froze. Didn't expect her to drop this suddenly. What did you say? I said, let's divorce. She repeated, voice calm, too calm. Going on like this is pointless. You're paranoid. I can't explain myself. Lily is suffering too. Better to separate. Good for everyone. I didn't speak, looking at her. She had lost weight, chin sharper, deep dark circles under her eyes. This month hadn't been easy for her either. Did Julian talk to you? I asked. Her eyes sharpened. What do you mean? Dave said Julian called you in for a talk. What did he say? Told you to divorce me and be with him. Mark, she stood up abruptly, trembling all over. What do you take me for? I gave the best 7 years of my youth to you. Gave you a child, managed this home for you. And now this is how you see me? Am I an object? If Julian says a word, I just obey. Then why suddenly mention divorce? Because we can't go on. She cried, tears falling heavily. Mark, look at us now. Does this look like a home? We're like strangers, living in the same house, sleeping in the same bed. But our hearts are further apart than anyone. Lily is terrified every day, afraid we'll fight, afraid we won't want her. She's 4. You want her to grow up in this environment. Do you have the heart? So divorce fixes her? I stood up too. Single-parent kid is better. At least she won't have to watch her parents' Cold War every day. At least she won't grow up in a repressed environment. Sarah, I walked up to her, looking into her eyes. Tell me, you want a divorce. Is it really because we can't go on, or is it because you want to be with Julian? She looked at me, gaze shifting from anger to disappointment, from disappointment to sorrow. Then she smiled, a desolate smile. Mark, she said softly, in your heart, I'm already that kind of person, right? To be with someone else, I can throw away husband, child, home. I didn't say that. That's exactly what you mean. She shook her head, stepping back. Forget it. I won't say any more. Useless to say anything. Think whatever you want. She turned to leave. I grabbed her. Sarah, let's not divorce. I said, voice raspy. For Lily, let's try again. Back to me, her shoulders shook. Try how? She asked. Do you trust me? I didn't speak. She waited a long time, didn't get my answer, and gently pulled her hand away. Go to sleep, she said. Talk tomorrow. She walked into the bedroom, closed the door. Didn't lock it, but I knew that door was already shut. I sat on the sofa until dawn. The next day was Saturday. Lily didn't have preschool. I woke up at 9 a.m. Lying on the sofa, blanket over me. Sarah must have covered me in the middle of the night. Sound from the kitchen. She was making breakfast. I sat up, splitting headache. Drank too much last night, didn't sleep well. Daddy, Lily ran over, diving into my arms. You're awake. Mommy made your favorite pot stickers. MMH. I patted her head. Where's Mommy? In the kitchen. I got up, walked to the kitchen door. Sarah was back to me, frying dumplings. She wore loungewear, hair loosely pinned up, exposing her pale neck. This back view I'd looked at for 7 years. Familiar enough to draw with my eyes closed. But today this back seemed so strange, so distant. Up. She didn't turn around, tone flat. Wash up and eat. Sarah, I called her. About last night. Eat first. She interrupted me. Talk after eating. Breakfast was quiet. Only Lily chirping about preschool. Sarah and I ate silently, occasionally responding. After eating, Sarah cleared the dishes. I watched TV with Lily. Daddy, Lily suddenly said. We haven't been to the theme park in a long time. Want to go? Yes. Lily's eyes lit up. Can we go with Mommy? I looked toward the kitchen. Sarah was washing dishes back to us. Okay, I said. When Mommy and Daddy are free, we'll take you. Pinky promise. I hooked pinkies with her. Pinky promise, lock it up, throw away the key. Sarah finished dishes, wiped her hands coming out. I have to go out for a bit, she said. Where to? Office. She put on her coat. Something came up. Need to handle it. Overtime on a weekend? Yeah. She didn't look at me, changing shoes. Back in the afternoon. You watch Lily. Mommy, where are you going? Lily ran over. Mommy's going to work. Back very soon. She kissed Lily's cheek. Listen to Daddy at home. Okay. She left. Door closed softly. I looked at that closed door, feeling hollow. Watched TV with Lily for a while. Put her down for a nap. Once she was asleep, I sat in the living room, not knowing what to do. Phone rang. It was Dave. Mark, where are you? Home. What's up? Come out. Gotta tell you something. Dave sounded urgent. Waiting at the usual spot. Hurry. What is it? Can't explain on the phone. You'll know when you get here. Hurry. He hung up. I checked the time, 1 p.m. Lily was sleeping soundly. Wouldn't wake up for a while. I texted Sarah saying I was stepping out, back soon. She didn't reply. I drove to the usual spot, a coffee shop we frequented. Dave was already there, sitting in the corner, looking grim. What's wrong? I sat down. Dave pushed his phone over. Look at this. It was screenshots of chat records. Looked like a company colleague group, but Dave wasn't in it. Someone forwarded it to him. I scrolled down. First message. Heard the news? Sarah from marketing is transferring. Second. For real? Transferring where? Third. Heard she applied for it herself. Going to a branch office out of state. Fourth. Why? Wasn't she doing well at HQ? Director Julian really valued her. Fifth. Valued? Give me a break. I think he valued her too much. Something happened. Sixth. What happened? Spill the tea. Seventh. Remember the retreat? Someone saw her and Julian sneak into a tent. Stayed for over an hour. Zipper was up. Eighth. Holy crap. Real. Ninth. Absolute truth. Several colleagues saw. Later, Julian's wife came to the office and made a huge scene. It was wild. 10th. Isn't Julian single? Where'd the wife come from? 11th. Secret marriage, obviously. Heard they even have a kid. Kept it hidden. Then the retreat news got out. The queen bee stormed in. Practically smashed Julian's office. 12th. What about Sarah? Did the wife go after her? 13th. She did. Heard she slapped her, called her a homewrecker. Sarah cried on the spot. Said she was innocent. But who believes that? 14th. Then she applied for transfer. 15th. What else? Stay and wait for the wife to come back. But Julian screwed too. Heard he's getting demoted to a dead-end department. Had a winning hand, played it terribly. 16th. Just goes to show, gotta be honest. Got a wife and kid at home and still messing around outside. Serves him right. Screenshots ended there. I stared at the phone screen for a long time. Long enough for my eyes to burn, vision blurring. Mark, Dave called me carefully. I looked up at him. Is this true? I asked around. Dave lowered his voice. It's true. Julian really has a secret family. Wife stays home. Kid is too. The day after the retreat, his wife stormed the company. Huge scene. Sarah, she really got slapped. When did this happen? Just last week. Last week when Sarah came home, her face was a bit red. I asked her. She said allergies. And the transfer? Also true. Sarah applied for it herself, transferring to the Seattle branch, leaving next month. Dave looked at me. Mark, I think we might have misunderstood Sarah. I didn't speak, brain in chaos. If this was true, then Sarah and Julian in the tent might really have been talking work. Maybe she discovered Julian's secret marriage, or Julian was discussing some shady deal with her. And Julian's wife storming in, slapping Sarah, calling her a homewrecker. Why didn't Sarah explain? Why didn't she tell me? Because she couldn't explain. Explain what? Say she spent an hour in a tent with her boss talking about his secret marriage? Who would believe it? Even I didn't believe it. Mark, Dave said again. There's one more thing. Say it. I found out that on the day of the retreat, Julian really did call Sarah in for a talk, right in that tent. Don't know what they talked about, but someone saw Sarah come out of the tent with red eyes, like she'd been crying. Crying. I remember the day Sarah came home. Her eyes were puffy. She said she didn't sleep well. Also, Dave lowered his voice even more. When Julian's wife came to make a scene, she said something. I'll repeat it, don't get agitated. She said, Sarah, let me tell you, don't think I don't know your dirty business. My husband confessed everything. He said you seduced him. Said you threw yourself at him for a promotion. My hand clenched tight, suddenly, coffee splashing out of the cup, scalding the back of my hand. Mark, I'm Fina. I pulled a tissue, wiping the coffee. What else did she say? She also said, Said Sarah isn't doing this for the first time, was messy with other male managers before, sleeping her way up. Dave spoke with difficulty. But I don't believe that part. Sarah isn't that kind of person. What about Julian? What did he say? Julian didn't dare fart at the time, just pulled his wife, trying to stop her talking. Security finally came to persuade her to leave. I leaned back in the chair, closing my eyes. So what was the truth? Was it Sarah seducing a married Julian for promotion, having an affair in the tent, getting caught by the wife, scandal everywhere? Or was Sarah harassed by Julian, negotiating in the tent, getting misunderstood, and publicly humiliated by the wife? Which one is true? I didn't know. I only knew Sarah had a hell of a month. Pointed at by colleagues, slapped by the wife, surrounded by rumors, and facing my distrust and cold violence. And she said nothing. Mark, Dave whispered, I think you should really talk to Sarah. There might be hidden circumstances. I opened my eyes, looking out the window, people rushing on the street, everyone in a hurry, everyone with their own stories, their own hardships. I'm going back, I said. I'll drive you. No need, I drove. I stood up, walking out. Stopped at the door, looked back at Dave. Thanks, brother. Dave waved. Hurry back, talk to her properly. I nodded, pushed the door open. The afternoon sun was blinding. I squinted, looking at the busy street. Time to go home. Time to talk to her. Whatever the truth was, we had to face it. Truth, part 2, back home. Lily was awake, playing blocks on the floor. Daddy, she ran over. Is Mommy back? Not yet. I patted her head. Mommy might be late. Oh, Lily was disappointed. What's for dinner? Daddy will make it. What do you want? Noodles. Okay, Daddy will make noodles. I went to the kitchen, boiled water, dropped noodles. Simple task, but I did it slowly. My brain kept replaying those chat logs. Julian's secret family, the slap from his wife, Sarah coming out of the tent with red eyes. If Sarah was innocent, then how did she survive this month? Suspected by her husband, gossiped about by colleagues, publicly humiliated by the wife, pretending to be calm in front of me, taking care of Lily, working. And me? What'd I do? I didn't trust her. I froze her out. I even thought about divorce. Noodles were done. I served Lily a bowl, served myself one. But neither of us ate much. Daddy, Lily whispered, noodles aren't yummy. Yeah, Daddy didn't make them well. Mommy makes yummy noodles. Yeah. At 7 p.m., Sarah wasn't back. I called her. Off. Called a few more times. Still off. I started to panic. Called her colleague. They said she was at the office in the afternoon, but left a long time ago. Called Dave. Dave said he'd ask around. Waited half an hour. Dave called back. Mark, Sarah left the company at 3 p.m. Someone saw her walking toward the subway. She didn't come home. No. Don't panic. I'll ask others. Another half hour. Still no news. I couldn't sit still. Grab car keys. Daddy, where you going? Lily asked. Daddy is going to find Mommy. You be good at home. Watch cartoons. Okay. I want to go too. No, it's dark. Wait for Daddy at home. Back soon. I left Lily with the neighbor, Mrs. Gable, and drove out. First her office. Locked. Then her usual coffee shop, bookstore, mall. Nothing. I drove, aimlessly circling the streets. Phone kept dialing, always off. 9 p.m. Dave called. Mark asked around. A colleague said they might have seen Sarah by the river this afternoon. River? Which part? The Waterfront Park section. I U-turned, drove toward the river. Waterfront Park was long. I drove slowly along the edge, scanning every pedestrian. 9 p.m. Not many people. Couples, elderly walkers, joggers. No Sada. I stopped the car, walked along the embankment. Night wind blew over, carrying the dampness of the river. Cold. Walked about half a mile. Saw a silhouette in the distance, sitting on a bench, facing the water. It was Sarah. I ran over. She was wearing her coat from earlier, hugging her knees, sitting motionless. Hair messy from the wind. Profile under the streetlight, pale, bloodless. Sarah. I called her. She didn't turn, like she didn't hear. I sat down next to her. Bench was cold. Wind was cold. Why didn't you come home? I asked. She still didn't speak, eyes staring at the river surface. A boat passed, lights reflecting in the water, breaking into fragments. Phone's off, I said. Lily is worried. Hearing Lily's name, her eyelashes trembled, but still no words. Sarah, I looked at her. Dave told me everything. She finally turned her head, looking at me. Eyes red, swollen but not crying. The look was empty, absorbing nothing. Told you what? She spoke, voice rasping. Julian's secret marriage. His wife coming to the office, slapping you. And you transferring to Seattle. She smiled. A faint, bitter smile. And then she asked, you believed it? Believe I'm innocent. I want to believe. Want to believe? She repeated the words, smiled again. Mark, even trusting me requires you to want to. I didn't know how to answer. Sarah, I took a deep breath. That day in the tent, what exactly happened? She turned back to the river. After a long time, long enough that I thought she wouldn't answer, she spoke. Voice light, shredded by the wind. He called me in to discuss a promotion. Said the VP of marketing spot opened up. Wanted to recommend me. And then he said, as long as I get with him, the spot is mine. She paused. Said he liked me for a long time. Said he had no feelings for his wife. Said he'd divorce and marry me. My hand clenched tight. What did you say? I said I have a family, a child, impossible. He said it didn't matter. He could wait. She laughed, sarcastic. Mark, guess what he said next? What? He said, that day downstairs at the office, you saw it, right? Saw him pat my shoulder. He said, you already suspect me, don't you? He said, since you don't trust me anyway, might as well be with him. So that day in the tent, he was threatening you? Bribery and threats. She watched the river. He said if I didn't agree, he'd make it impossible for me to stay at the company. Say I seduced him. Say I'd do anything for a promotion. He said nobody would believe me anyway, just like you didn't believe me. Then you. I slapped him, she said calmly. Then he lunged, tried to force me. I kicked him, ran out. My eyes were red because I hit the tent pole while struggling. I looked at her, speechless. Later, his wife found out somehow. Came to the office, said I seduced her husband. I explained, nobody listened. She hit me. I didn't fight back because I knew if I did, it would be even harder to explain. She turned, looking at me. Mark, you know what's the funniest part? What? The funniest part is Julian just stood there, watching his wife hit me, curse me, didn't say a word. After security dragged her away, he came to apologize. Said he had no choice. Said his wife had depression, couldn't upset her. She laughed out loud, laughed until tears came. Then he said, as long as I agreed to him, he guaranteed I'd be VP and give me money as hush money. You agree? I resign, she said. But the company said resigning is fine, but wait a month for handover. Then HR talked to me, said they could transfer me to Seattle branch, position unchanged to settle the matter. I agreed. I wanted to leave here, leave this mess, start over. She finished looking at me, eyes calm as stagnant water. That is the truth, Mark. Do you believe it? I didn't speak. Night wind blew cold. The lights on the river shattered into pieces, like a river full of stars. Sarah, I opened my mouth, voice shaking. Why didn't you tell me? Tell you what? She countered. Tell you I was sexually harassed by my boss? Tell you I almost got raped? Tell you I got slapped in public, called a homewrecker? Mark, would you believe it? After you saw those photos, heard those rumors, even personally ran to Pine Ridge to catch a cheater, would you believe me? I opened my mouth, couldn't make a sound. You wouldn't. She answered for me. You'd think I was making up a story, making excuses. You'd look at me with that suspicious look, just like you looked at me all month. Mark, I've had enough. Enough of your distrust. Enough of your cold violence. Enough of walking on a tightrope every day. She stood up, facing me, under the streetlight. Her face was pale, but eyes burning like two fires. Let's divorce, Mark. Not for Julian, not for anyone. For myself, for Lily, and for you. Going on like this is too tiring. Better to separate. Wind blew her hair, revealing a faint red mark on her neck. Was that from Julian's wife? Or left from struggle? I didn't know. I only knew my heart felt gripped by a hand, painful to suffocation. Sarah, I heard my voice light, raspy. I'm sorry. She didn't speak, just looked at me. Sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you. I stood up, facing her. Sorry for how I treated you this month. Sorry I was a bastard. She still didn't speak, but tears fell drop by drop, hitting the ground. Let's not divorce, I said. Give me another chance, okay? I'll change. I'll trust you. Trust everything from now on. Let's start over, okay? She shook her head, tears flowing freely. Too late, Mark, she said. Too late. Some cracks can't be fixed. They can. I grabbed her hand hard. As long as you want it, we can fix it. We still have Lily. We have this home. We have 7 years. So what if it's 7 years? She interrupted, pulling her hand back. 7 years. And you still didn't trust me, did you? I trust you. I trust you now. But I don't trust you anymore. She looked at me, tears blurring her vision. Mark, I don't trust you. I don't trust myself either. I don't trust that I can love you like before, without suspicion. I don't trust we can go back. What about Lily? What about Lily? Lily stays with me. She said firmly, you're young. You can find someone else. I won't let Lily call anyone else mommy. Sarah, don't say it. She turned back to me. I'm staying at my mom's tonight. Coming back for my stuff tomorrow. I'll have a lawyer send the agreement. House, car, savings, all yours. I just want Lily. I don't agree. If you don't agree, see you in court. Her voice went cold. Mark, don't make it ugly. Leave some dignity for each other, okay? With that, she walked away. Along the embankment, step by step, further away. I wanted to chase, but my feet were nailed to the ground. Couldn't move. I could only watch her walk away, watch her back disappear into the night, just like 7 years ago when I first saw her turn to leave. Back then, I chased her. This time I didn't, because I knew I couldn't get her back. Epilogue 1 month later, Sarah transferred to Seattle. The day she left, I went to see her off. Union Station, crowds of people. She pulled a small suitcase, holding Lily's hand. Lily didn't know what happened, only knew she was going to Grandma's for a while, very happy. Mommy, does Grandma have a puppy? Yes, Grandma has a little poodle, very sweet. Yay, I can play with the puppy. Sarah patted her head, then looked at me. Got everything? I asked. Yeah. Call me when you get there. Yeah. Between us, only this dry dialogue left. The PA system announced boarding for the train to the coast. Lily, I squatted down, hugging her. Listen to Mommy at Grandma's, okay? I know. Lily hugged my neck. Daddy, when are you coming to see me? Soon, I said, nose stinging. Daddy will come see you very soon. Pinky promise. We hooked pinkies again. Pinky promise, lock it up, throw away the key. Sarah stood aside watching us, silent. Let's go. She took Lily's hand. Bye, Daddy. Lily waved. Bye. I waved, watching them walk into the gate, disappearing into the crowd. On the platform, I watched the train slowly pull out, faster and faster, further and further, finally becoming a dot disappearing at the end of the line. I stood there for a long time, until my phone rang. Dave. Mark, she gone. Yeah. Drinks tonight. Sure. That night, Dave and I went to that dive bar again. Glass after glass, no talking, just drinking. Third bottle in, Dave said, Mark, something. I don't know if I should say. Say it. Just. Regarding Julian. There's an update. What update? His wife divorced him, took half his assets. Company fired him too. Now the industry knows, nobody dares hire him. Dave paused. Also, his wife privately reached out to Sarah, apologized. Said she was blinded by anger, shouldn't have hit her, shouldn't have said those things. Said Julian lied to her, said Sarah seduced him. Later she checked Julian's phone, found out Julian wasn't just harassing Sarah. He was hitting on several female colleagues. Sarah was the only one who rejected him. I didn't speak, down the drink. Bitter. Mark, Dave looked at me. Do you regret it? Regret? Regret not trusting her? Regret freezing her out? Regret not standing by her when she needed me most? Regret. But what use is regret? How is she now? I asked. Heard she's doing well in Seattle. New job, new environment. Nobody knows about this stuff. Dave sighed. Mark, if you want to fix it, it's not too late. Go to Seattle, find her, apologize, beg forgiveness. Lily needs a dad too. I shook my head. She won't forgive me. How do you know if you don't try? Because I know her. I looked at the drink. When she says she doesn't want it, she really doesn't. When she says we can't go back, we really can't. Dave stopped talking, drank with me. Drank until midnight, I Ubered home. Empty house. No Sarah, no Lily, just me. I sat on the sofa, looking at this home. Every piece of furniture, every decoration, had Sarah's shadow. She picked the sofa, she chose the curtains, she painted the art on the wall. Lily's toys were still on the coffee table, Lily's scribbles still on the floor. This home was full of them, yet empty of them. Phone rang. Text from Sarah, arrived. Lily is asleep. I typed, good. Take care of yourself. She didn't reply. I put down the phone, walked to the balcony. Night wind blew cold. Distant lights dimmed. Under every light, there was a story. My story was over. No, not over. There was still Lily. Still twice-a-month visits. Still phone calls. Still video chats. Still her calling me daddy, and me answering. Just that this home was scattered. Because of my one distrust. Because of her silence. Because of a blue tent. Because of 1 hour. Because of those unspoken words. That unspoken love. Wind blew over a bit cold. I wrapped my coat tighter, looking at the night sky. No stars, just thick clouds. Tomorrow, it might rain. I thought. Story complete.